Financial assistance is also critically important, and I would like to thank you very much. Thank you for both financial packages you have already provided us with and the ones you may be willing to decide on. Your money is not charity. It's an investment in the global security and democracy that we handle in the most responsible way. Russia could stop its aggression, really, if it wanted to, but you can speed up our victory. I know it. And it will prove to any potential aggressor that no one can succeed in breaking national borders, no one committing atrocities and reigning over people against their will. It would be naive to wait for steps towards peace from Russia, which enjoys being a terrorist state. Russians are still poisoned by the Kremlin. The restoration of international legal order is our joint task. We need peace. Yes, Ukraine has already offered proposals, which I just discussed with President Biden, our peace formula, 10 points which should and must be implemented for our joint security, guaranteed for decades ahead. And the summit which can be held, I'm glad to stress that President Biden supported our peace initiative today. Each of you, ladies and gentlemen, can assist in the implementation to ensure that America's leadership remains solid, bicameral, and bipartisan. Thank you. You can strengthen sanctions to make Russia feel how ruinous its aggression truly is. It is in your power, really, to help us bring to justice everyone who started this unprovoked and criminal war. Let's do it. Let terrorists let the terrorist state be held responsible for its terror and aggression and compensate all losses done by this war. Let the world see that the United States are here. Ladies and gentlemen, Americans, in 2 days, we will celebrate Christmas. Maybe candlelit. Not because it's more romantic, no, but because there will be no electricity. Millions won't have neither heating nor running water. All of these will be the result of Russian missile and drone attacks on our energy infrastructure. But we do not complain. We do not judge and compare whose life is easier. Your well-being is the product of your national security, the result of your struggle for independence and your many victories. We, Ukrainians, will also go through our war of independence and freedom with dignity and success. We'll celebrate Christmas. Celebrate Christmas, and even if there is no electricity, the light of our faith in ourselves will not be put out. If Russian missiles attack us, we'll do our best to protect ourselves. If they attack us with Iranian drones and our people will have to go to bomb shelters on Christmas Eve, Ukrainians will still sit down at the holiday table and cheer up each other. And we don't have to know everyone's wish, as we know that all of us, millions of Ukrainians, wish the same: victory. Only victory. We already built strong Ukraine with strong people, strong army, strong institutions together with you. We developed strong security guarantees for our country and for entire Europe and the world together with you. And also together with you, we'll put in place everyone who will defy freedom. Put in. This will be the basis to protect democracy in Europe and the world over. Now, on the special Christmas time, I want to thank you, all of you. I thank every American family which cherishes the warmth of its home and wishes the same warmth to other people. I thank President Biden and both parties at the Senate and the House for your invaluable assistance. I thank your cities and your citizens who supported Ukraine this year, who hosted our Ukrainians, our people, who waved our national flags, who acted to help us. Thank you all, from everyone who is now at the front line, from everyone who is evading victory. Standing here today, I recall the words of the President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, which are, I think, so good for this moment. The American people, in their righteous might, will win through to absolute victory. The Ukrainian people will win too, absolutely. I know that everything depends on us, on Ukrainian armed forces, yet so much depends on the world. So much in the world depends on you. When I was in Bakhmut yesterday, our heroes gave me the flag, the battle flag, the flag of those who defend Ukraine, Europe, and the world at the cost of their lives. They asked me to bring this flag to you, to the US Congress, to members of the House of Representatives and senators whose decisions can save millions of people. So let these decisions be taken. Let this flag stay with you, ladies and gentlemen. This flag is a symbol of our victory. In this war, we stand, we fight, and we will win because we are united. Ukraine, America, and the entire free world. Just one thing If I can, the last thing, thank you so much. May God protect our brave troops and citizens. May God forever bless the United States of America. Merry Christmas and happy, victorious New Year. Slava Ukraini!
Today for you. Okay.
To me.
Somebody will carry it.
I can hold.
Okay. We're gonna turn around.
Yes.
There we go. This flag was flown over the Capitol today in honor of the President's visit.
Thank you so much. I will take it.
Hello and welcome to this edition of Superfast 50, in which we bring you the top 50 stories that you need to know to kickstart your day this morning. So let's begin. Amid a COVID uproar in China, India holds a COVID review meeting chaired by the Union Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia, where experts say although there is no overall increase in COVID caseload as of now, there is a need for continued surveillance to keep a track of existing and emerging variants. As Union Health Ministry reviews the COVID-19 situation, it has now been learned that INSACOG, the forum set up under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare by the Government of India, is keeping a close vigil to access potential mutation of COVID in India. States have been told to send positive cases samples proactively. After the Union Health Ministry reviewed the COVID-19 situation, it has now been notified that the government will issue fresh guidelines that will have a focus on those coming in from China. As for sources, the guidelines will be issued to travelers coming to India from China. And in view of a sudden spurt in COVID cases in China and some other countries, the Union Health Minister reviewed the situation in India and asked people to follow COVID-appropriate behavior, including wearing masks in crowded places and getting vaccinated. 3 cases of the Omicron subvariant BF7, apparently the strain driving China's current surge of COVID cases, have been detected in India so far. The first case of BF7 in India was detected in October by the Gujarat Biotechnology Research Center. So far, 2 cases have been reported from Gujarat, while 1 case is from Odisha. Amid a growing COVID scare in the country, the Yogi Adityanath-led Uttar Pradesh government has issued an alert across the state and stepped up preparedness. As India ramps up preparations to tackle the COVID situation, if there is any, Karnataka Health Minister has asserted that the ministry will effectively issue fresh guidelines in Karnataka as well. Meanwhile, he has asked people to take booster doses as soon as possible. Following the COVID-19 scare in the country, Uttarakhand Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami addressed the media on preparations for COVID, saying that the state will adhere to all guidelines issued by the central government. And amid the growing COVID-19 fears, the Maharashtra government has decided to hold a review meeting where discussions on the state's preparedness for an upcoming COVID wave, if there is any, will take place. The Maharashtra Health Minister has also issued some guidelines. World Health Organization Director General Tedros Ghebreyesus has once again called on China to share the data requested by the World Health Body to better understand the origins of the COVID-19 pandemic. In another face-off between the BJP and the Congress MP Sonia Gandhi and other opposition leaders protested in front of the Gandhi statue inside Parliament premises, demanding a discussion on the recent India-China clash at Tawang. Earlier in the day, Congress MPs Manikam Tagore and Manish gave adjournment motion notices in the Lok Sabha to discuss the border situation with China. Responding to the demand, the BJP lambasted the Congress. Congress leader Sonia Gandhi hit out at the government for not allowing a discussion on the India-China border issue in Parliament, saying silence on matters of serious concern have become a defining feature of the government. Addressing party MPs at the general body meeting of the Congress, she said, when facing a significant national challenge, it has been the tradition in our country to bring Parliament into confidence.
यही है कि सदन में चर्चा चाहते हैं, जो चाइनीज आक्रमण कर रहा है उसके बारे में सदन को इन्फॉर्मेशन दो, ताकि सदन के ओर से सारे देश के लोगों को मालूम हो। यही चर्चा अगर नहीं हुई, एक तरफा उत्तर हुआ, तो उसका क्या मतलब है?
बड़ी मांग कोई मांग नहीं है, मांग एक ही है कि चाइना के घुसपैठ की सूचना मिल रही है हिंदुस्तानी बॉर्डर में। सदन सर्वोच्च और सदन में इस बात पर पूर्णतः पूरी स्थिति की जानकारी सरकार को देनी चाहिए। सरकार क्यों उससे भाग रही है और अगर सरकार उस पर चर्चा कराने में कोई ऐतराज क्यों है, और अगर कोई ऐतराज है तो इसका मतलब है कि दाल में कुछ काला है, इसलिए सरकार चर्चा नहीं करना चाहती। हम लोग की मांग है कि सरकार इस पर जवाब दे, बताए और उस पर चर्चा।
सदन में आया प्राइम मिनिस्टर, जिसके ऊपर लोगों को बोलने का मौका दिया जाए। पहले हुआ था, 3 दिन टाइम दिया था, इन्होंने 1 घंटा भी टाइम नहीं दिया। सदन के सारे मेंबरों को बोलने का मौका दें। वहाँ क्या हो रहा है, हम लोग परेशान हैं, सारा मुल्क परेशान है, ये आराम से सो रहे हैं, तो नहीं चलेगा, बयान देना पड़ेगा।
देखिए, रणनीति बिल्कुल साफ है कि चीन के ऊपर चर्चा होनी चाहिए संसद में, कि चीन और भारत के जो रिश्ते हैं और चीन का ये जो उग्र रुख है भारत की तरफ, इसका क्या कारण है, सरकार की क्या नीति है, इसके ऊपर चर्चा की जरूरत है।
आखिरी सवाल सर, भारत जोड़ो यात्रा को लेकर चिट्ठी लिखी है हेल्थ मिनिस्टर ने कि कोविड फैल रहा है और उसके ऊपर विचार करना चाहिए भारत जोड़ो यात्रा के ऊपर। राहुल गांधी को और अशोक गहलोत दोनों को ही चिट्ठी लिखी गई है।
देखिए, मुझे इसके बारे में जानकारी नहीं है। अगर श्री राहुल गांधी जी को या अशोक गहलोत को कोई चिट्ठी लिखी है तो मुख्यमंत्री राजस्थान उसका बेहतर जवाब दे पाए।
हमारी मांग है कि चीन के मामले पर संसद में चर्चा हो। जो सरकार ने चुप्पी साध ली है, सरकार ने मौन व्रत धारण कर लिया है, उससे जो है विपक्ष परेशान। वो कहता आप कुछ तो बताओ, पूरा देश चीन के इस मामले पर, सीमा सुरक्षा के मामले पर आपके साथ है, हमारे सेना के जवानों के साथ है सारा विपक्ष, तो आपको फिर जो है इस पर चर्चा कराने से क्या गुरेज? आप इस पर चर्चा कराइए, लोगों के सुझाव लीजिए, कड़े कूटनीतिक कदम उठाइए। सोनिया गांधी ने अपनी संसदीय दल की बैठक में भी कहा है कि कड़े कूटनीतिक कदम उठाने चाहिए और आर्थिक कदम उठाने चाहिए चीन के मामले में। वहाँ पर सरकार कुछ कर नहीं रही, इसकी वजह से उसके हौसले बढ़ते जा रहे हैं।
गलवान के बाद उम्मीद थी कि ये ट्रेड ख़त्म होगा, पर वो ट्रेड और बढ़ा है। तो ये सवाल पूछना लाजमी है कि आप एक तरफ आत्मनिर्भर भारत की बात करते हैं, दूसरी तरफ हम बॉर्डर पे इस तरीके का विवाद देख रहे हैं और आप इसके बारे में चर्चा नहीं करने दे रहे हैं। क्या हमारे सैनिकों को और हमारी सैनिकों की तरफ जिम्मेदारी नहीं है कि वो बार बार बॉर्डर पे लड़ रहे हैं, निहत्थे कभी कभी लड़ते हैं, कभी मुश्किलों का सामना कर रहे हैं और हमारी जो सरकार है उनकी किसी तरीके की जवाबदेही नहीं दे रही।
देखिए, कांग्रेस की पोल खुल चुकी है क्योंकि रक्षा मंत्री जी और विदेश मंत्री ने पहले बड़े विस्तार में कह दिया कि भारत की सीमा पर 1 इंच भूमि भी ना हमने कभी जाने दी ना जाने देंगे। मुंह तोड़ जवाब अतिक्रमणकारियों को पहले भी दिया, अब भी दिया है, लेकिन कांग्रेस को भारतीय सेना से ज़्यादा किसी और पर विश्वास है और ये आज की स्थिति नहीं थी। ये 1962 पर भी पर्दा डालना चाहते हैं, जो उस समय हुआ, जो कांग्रेस की सरकारें थी।
ना, मैं इतना ही कहना, आई वुड लाइक टू टेल ओनली वन थिंग। तो उनको बीच बीच में महात्मा गांधी जी याद आता है, ये नकली कांग्रेस, नकली गांधी और नकली कांग्रेस को। ये तो अच्छी बात है, दैट्स ए गुड थिंग।
Sonia Gandhi has alleged that the ministers in the government are attacking the judiciary on various grounds and making attempts to reduce the standing of the judiciary. The government has hit back on these allegations. Union Law Minister has said there is no conflict between the government and judiciary and it is only the Congress that is politicizing the matter. Rijiju further added that the Congress does not have any faith in the Supreme Court. While speaking in the Lok Sabha, Union Home Minister Amit Shah said that all states and union territories will have to come together to fight against the drug menace. He further said that we need to stop the entry of drugs through our borders, ports and airports. Reacting to the current India-China face-off, Tibetan president in exile, the Dalai Lama, has said there is democracy in India and that is the good part of India. Meanwhile, he has also said that disagreements should soon be resolved and that we should build a world without weapons. The NIA yesterday submitted a special NIA court at Kochi that the banned PFI leaders in Kerala were in touch with some of the Islamic State and Al-Qaeda leaders. NIA also submitted that there is a secret wing of the PFI working to prepare a hit list of people belonging to other communities and their activities were centered around the PFI office. BJP State Vice President K.S. Radhakrishnan has said that the PFI has the political support of LDF and UDF. Just banning it will not help. He further said the Kerala police is doing nothing. In more proof of a Pakistani role in drone dropping in India, BSF troops shot down a Pakistani drone in Punjab's Gurdaspur after BSF troops fired 37 rounds. In a fresh face-off, EPS has called for a massive statewide protest against the DMK government in a bid to show support and prove the strength of the opposition. Meanwhile, OPS has called for a meeting of district secretaries to discuss the future of the party. In a crackdown on gangsters, NIA has conducted a 4th set of raids in connection with syndicate of gangsters over alleged involvement of gangsters in Pakistan's drone dropping conspiracy. Raids were conducted across 10 locations in Haryana. 2 statues of former Chief Ministers of Tamil Nadu, MGR and Jayalalitha, have been placed near the Madras High Court Madurai bench premises after the cadre who found that a saffron shawl was put on the shoulders of the statue of MGR. A police complaint has been filed and a probe is underway. Traffic on the Jammu-Srinagar National Highway was disrupted after a landslide was reported on the National Highway near Diwal Bridge in Udhampur. Efforts are underway to resume traffic movement at the earliest. Protests escalated in Afghanistan's Kabul after the Taliban rulers banned female students from attending universities effective immediately in the latest edict cracking down on women's rights and freedoms, despite initially promising a more moderate rule respecting the rights of women and minorities. The Taliban have widely implemented strict interpretation of Islamic law and Sharia. China's Xi Jinping has hailed 50 years of diplomatic relations with Australia as fundamental to peace and stability in the world. Exchanging greetings on the half-century of ties with Australian Governor General David Hurley and Prime Minister Anthony Albanese. Australian Foreign Minister Penny Wong is in China for talks seeking to mend a long break in high-level ties that have prompted trade sanctions and political frictions. After arriving in Beijing, Wong thanked China for the invitation, which comes on the anniversary of 50 years of official diplomatic relations between the two. Wong's visit is the first by an Australian foreign minister to China in 4 years, and raising hopes that Australia will make progress on ending China's blocks on imports. Pharmaceutical companies in China have worked at full capacity to increase the medicine supply as more people are getting infected with the fast-spreading Omicron variant of coronavirus. And pharmaceutical companies in central China's Hunan were operating 24 hours a day to increase output. At the same time, pharmaceutical logistics in Beijing were operating 24 hours non-stop delivery to ensure medicines could be delivered within 4 hours. Medicine companies in China are giving priority to the supply of anti-fever drugs since the relaxation of COVID restrictions earlier this month. Multiple cities in South China have converted COVID-19 testing booths into makeshift fever clinics in compliance with the country's optimization of COVID-19 restriction measures. China called on the U.S. to stop making unfounded accusations. Of the U.S. ambassador to NATO warned of Beijing and Moscow's challenges to the unity of the military alliance, and also again defended her country's COVID response, indicating that the government would provide more convenience for cross-border travel in light of developments of the situation. With the hardline government set to enter office, some Israeli LGBTQ plus families fear for their futures and a repeal of years of gradual recognition for the community. Many members of Benjamin Netanyahu's apparent coalition are vocally anti-LGBTQ plus, and some have pledged to take steps to roll back recent progress. Members of the community serve openly in Israel's military and parliament, and many popular artists and entertainers are openly gay. But leaders of the community say Israel has a long way to go to promote equality. Peru's Congress tentatively endorsed a plan to hold early elections in an attempt to defuse a national political crisis marked by deadly unrest after lawmakers ousted President Pedro Castillo. The proposal, approved by 91 of the legislature's 130 members, would push up to April 2023 elections for president, and Congress originally scheduled for 2026. The U.S. House Ways and Means Committee is proposing legislation to beef up approach that the Internal Revenue Service takes when conducting mandatory audits of the taxes of U.S. presidents. The new legislation would require an initial report no later than 90 days from the filing of a president's tax returns after the president takes office. The proposal comes after the committee released a report concluding that the IRS had failed to pursue mandatory audits of Donald Trump on a timely basis during his presidency. French killer Charles Sobraj ordered to be released from jail in Nepal because of poor health, good behavior and having already served most of his sentence. The Supreme Court of Nepal ruling also said he had to leave the country within the next 15 days but did not specify where. A court document said the Frenchman had already served more than 75% of his sentence, making him eligible for release, and added he was suffering from heart disease. Ramiz Raza has been removed from the post of chairman of Pakistan Cricket Board, reported ESPN Cricinfo on Wednesday. The current board has been dissolved. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, who is also the patron of the board, has nominated a 13-member committee to take the Pakistan cricket forward. The United World Wrestling Federation announced the dates for the Asian Wrestling Championships next year, which will take place in New Delhi from March 28 to April 2nd. The Asian Championship competitions will feature men's freestyle, women's freestyle and men's Greco-Roman divisions. The wrestlers will receive ranking points from it, which will be used to set their seedings for the September World Championships. Indian skipper Rohit Sharma has claimed the #1 position in the latest ICC Test rankings, while Pakistan captain Babar Azam has risen to career-high Test batsman ranking. The victories for Australia, England and India in their respective recent Test matches have seen a host of stars climb the charts in the latest ICC Men's Test player rankings. ICC CEO Allardyce has stated that the recent tour of England to Pakistan was a huge success and was optimistic of future tours to the Asian country being equally triumphant. In 2022, Test cricket made rejoicing come back to Pakistan with successful recent series played there by Australia and England, as well as a tour later this month by the current World Test champions New Zealand. Football star Messi added another record to his name. 2 days after he won the FIFA World Cup 2022, Argentina, as a carousel of photographs commemorating the triumph, has since surpassed all of the posts on Instagram in terms of likes. Asked about the debate on who's the better player between Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, former Turkey head coach Fatih Terim claimed that the Argentinian star is by far the best player in the world. He said, and I quote, "Messi is the first, Messi is the second, and Messi is the third best player." Yasser Al-Misehal, Saudi Arabia Football Federation president, has ambitions for his country to break into the top 20 of the FIFA World Rankings now. And Saudi Arabia provided the shock of the tournament, beating eventual winners Argentina 2-1 in their opening game, a result that certainly captured the imagination of football fans worldwide. A parade to commemorate the Argentinian World Cup champions was abruptly cut short as millions of people poured onto thoroughfares, highways and overpasses in a chaotic attempt to catch a glimpse of the national team that won one of the greatest World Cup finals of all time. These are indeed proud moments, was how Dr. Patrice Motsepe, CAF president, summed up the mood following the Qatar World Cup. Speaking on Wednesday, Motsepe reflected on a hugely successful tournament for the region, most notably with Morocco breaking new ground, reaching the semi-finals. Malaysia opened a good start in the AFF Championship as the former champions beat Myanmar 1-0 in Group B on Wednesday in Yangon in Myanmar. In their last head-to-head meeting, Malaysia defeated Myanmar 3-0 in the 2018 edition of the tournament. U.S. State Department has slammed the Taliban after the Afghan government banned women from private and public universities in Afghanistan. Local TDP leader Ibrahim was brutally murdered in Narsalaropet, Palnadu district. The gangster-turned-terrorist Harry Chatta travelled through a fake passport. Now an FIR has been registered. Hello and welcome to this edition, the first morning's edition of the news here on Republic. I'm Rukma with you, and over the next few minutes I'll be taking you through all the top stories that you need to know this morning to kickstart your day. So let's begin. Amid fears of a new Omicron subvariant, the BF7, the health minister yesterday wrote a letter to Rahul Gandhi warning on COVID protocols. But this did not go down well with the Congress, for they said they will continue the Bharat Jodo Yatra. Here's the full report.
Overloaded hospitals, a staggering death tolls. China is in the middle of a COVID explosion. And India is on alert, and high-level meetings are taking place.
With a weekly average of 1,200 against 3.5 million globally, India seems to be in control of the situation. But with a wave raging in China and 5 cases of that variant getting reported in our country as well, this is no time for complacency. And that's why COVID-appropriate behavior has to be back. The government has scrambled with meetings and instructions. Airports are going to see random checks on international arrivals, and the treatment, test and track protocol is also set to come back, and rightly so.
Hospitals and medical bodies are on alert.
खांसी जुकाम इस मौसम में होता है, हम विंटर में हैं, हम ठंड के मौसम में हैं, तो पहली अपील ये है कि खांसी जुकाम हो रहा है तो आज की सिचुएशन को देखते हुए अपील करना चाहेंगे कि उसमें आप टेस्टिंग करवा लीजिए। हो सकता है और 90% चांस है कि शायद ये नॉन कोविड होगा, लेकिन अगर हमने अर्ली डिटेक्शन करनी है तो तभी करेंगे, कोई टेस्ट करवाएंगे। तो एक अपील भी है और सिस्टम भी इसको प्रोत्साहित करेगा कि टेस्टिंग हो, टेस्टिंग बढ़ेगी तो हमारा फुटप्रिंट ज़्यादा होता है, प्रॉब्लम जो है वो डिटेक्ट होगी, उस वायरस का आइसोलेशन होगा, उस वायरस का जीनोम होगा, तो हमें पूरी ताकत मिलेगी और हमें समझ रहेगी कि हम किस तरफ बढ़ रहे हैं।
The Health Ministry has duly sent Rahul Gandhi a letter to abide by COVID protocol or suspend the Bharat Jodo Yatra.
हिमाचल के सम्मानीय मुख्यमंत्री जी पर भी भारत जोड़ो यात्रा में गए थे, उसके बाद उसमें भी कोविड पॉजिटिव पाया गया और उसको देखते हुए राजस्थान में कोविड ना फैले, इस विषय के लिए आप कुछ कार्यवाही करिए। उसको देखते हुए मैंने मिनिस्ट्री में एक्सपर्ट लोगों की राय ली, बातचीत किया और उसके आधार पर मैंने भारत जोड़ो यात्रा के इंचार्ज कन्वीनर राहुल जी को एक पत्र लिखा।
However, the Congress accused the centre of selectively picking on the Bharat Jodo Yatra.
We can see the situation in the country now. Now they are very much worried about the Bharat Jodo Yatra. Therefore, they are trying to use different tools to stop this yatra. But we will continue the yatra.
With several states issuing advisory, now this has become a fact that COVID threat is emerging again, and one cannot deny that. The bigger question here is, will Congress stop Bharat Jodo Yatra amid looming threat? Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Congress party is protesting outside the parliament in front of Gandhi statue.
The AIADMK party has called in for a statewide protest today against the DMK government.
BSF troops shot down a Pak drone in Punjab's Gurdaspur district after the BSF troops fired 37 rounds.
A former union minister signed the laces of Rahul Gandhi.
25 kilogram of heroin has been recovered by the BSF. The Kashmiri Pandits here in Jammu are staging protests against Jammu and Kashmir Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha.
The headlines this morning: India goes back to COVID mode as fears over BF7 variant grows. Government reviews preparedness, pushes for genome sequencing. Top health ministry sources say the government is to issue fresh guidelines for travellers from China. Not just the centre, states ramp up preparations and increase surveillance. In a bid to solve infighting, Mallikarjun Kharge sends observer to Telangana, Digvijay Singh to Hyderabad. In international news, in his first trip outside Ukraine since the Russian invasion, Zelenskyy lands in the United States. Biden welcomes him.
Thanks for tuning in this Thursday morning. I'm Samiksha Srivastava, starting with our top focus. Now, India in the past 6 months has reported 4 cases of BF7 Omicron subvariant, which is driving the current surge of infections in China. Here's a detailed report on the COVID alarm in India and China.
In the past 6 months has reported 4 cases of the BF7 Omicron subvariant, which is driving current surge of infections in China. A sudden surge in COVID-19 cases in the United States, China, Brazil, and South Korea has prompted the Union Health Ministry to review the pandemic situation in India. As a precautionary measure, the government from Wednesday restarted random sampling of international passengers at airports across the country for COVID. Union Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia on Wednesday conducted a high-level meeting to review the COVID-19 situation in the country. Health Ministry reviewed the preparedness of the public health system for surveillance, containment and management of COVID-19. The Union Health Minister was briefed on the global COVID-19 situation and the domestic scenario. Health Minister said that COVID is not over yet and directed officials to be alert and strengthen surveillance. He urged people to follow COVID-appropriate behavior and get vaccinated. Niti Aayog member V.K. Paul made an appeal to citizens to take the precautionary dose and use a mask in crowded spaces.
प्रिकॉशन डोज सबको लगनी चाहिए, लेकिन लगी है सिर्फ 27-28%। तो हम अपील करेंगे कि प्रिकॉशन डोज जिसको नहीं लगी है वो ले लीजिए। ये भारत की पेंडेमिक रिस्पांस का एक पिलर है, पॉलिसी है, वैक्सीन अवेलेबल हैं, तो उसको तरफ जाइए। और सीनियर सिटीजन्स क्योंकि वल्नरेबल हैं और बीमारी वाले व्यक्ति वल्नरेबल ज़्यादा होते हैं, तो ये खासकर उनके लिए अपील है कि अगर आपको प्रिकॉशन डोज नहीं लगी तो लीजिए, लेकिन सभी को प्रिकॉशन डोज जो है वो मैंडेटेड है, गाइडेड है और उसको लीजिए।
Meanwhile, states are sending more samples for genome sequencing. INSECOG is also keeping a close vigil to assess potential mutations of COVID in India. Agency report, Republic TV.
And amid fears of the new Omicron subvariant, which is BF7, the health minister yesterday wrote a letter to Rahul Gandhi warning on COVID protocols that must be informed during his must be followed during his yatra. But this, of course, did not go down well. The Congress and they said that they would continue with the yatra. Here's a detailed report.
Overloaded hospitals, a staggering death tolls. China is in the middle of a COVID explosion. And India is on alert and high-level meetings are taking place.
With a weekly average of 1,200 against 3.5 million globally, India seems to be in control of the situation. But with a wave raging in China and 5 cases of that variant getting reported in our country as well, this is no time for complacency. And that's why COVID-appropriate behavior has to be back. The government has scrambled with meetings and instructions. Airports are going to see random checks for international arrivals, and the treatment, test and track protocol is also set to come back, and rightly so.
Hospitals and medical bodies are on alert.
खांसी जुकाम इस मौसम में होता है, हम विंटर में हैं, हम ठंड के मौसम में हैं। तो पहली अपील ये है कि खांसी जुकाम हो रहा है तो आज की सिचुएशन को देखते हुए अपील करना चाहेंगे कि उसमें आप टेस्टिंग करवा लीजिए। हो सकता है और 90% चांस है कि शायद ये नॉन कोविड होगा, लेकिन अगर हमने अर्ली डिटेक्शन करनी है तो तभी करेंगे, कोई टेस्ट करवाएंगे। तो एक अपील भी है और सिस्टम भी इसको प्रोत्साहित करेगा कि टेस्टिंग हो, टेस्टिंग बढ़ेगी तो हमारा फुटप्रिंट ज़्यादा होता है, प्रॉब्लम जो है वो डिटेक्ट होगी, उस वायरस का आइसोलेशन होगा, उस वायरस का जीनोम होगा, तो हमें पूरी ताकत मिलेगी और हमें समझ रहे कि हम किस तरफ बढ़ रहे हैं।
The Health Ministry has duly sent Rahul Gandhi a letter to abide by COVID protocol or suspend the Bharat Jodo Yatra.
हिमाचल के सम्मानीय मुख्यमंत्री जी पर भी भारत जोड़ो यात्रा में गए थे, उसके बाद उसमें भी कोविड पॉजिटिव पाया गया और उसको देखते हुए राजस्थान में कोविड ना फैले, इस विषय के लिए आप कुछ कार्यवाही करिए। उसको देखते हुए मैंने मिनिस्ट्री में एक्सपर्ट लोगों की राय ली, बातचीत किया और उसके आधार पर मैंने भारत जोड़ो यात्रा के इंचार्ज कन्वीनर राहुल जी को एक पत्र लिखा।
However, the Congress accused the centre of selectively picking on the Bharat Jodo Yatra.
we can see the situation in the country now. Now they are very much worried about the Bharat Jodo Yatra. Therefore, they are trying to use different tools to stop this yatra. But we will continue the yatra.
With several states issuing advisory, now this has become a fact that COVID threat is emerging again, and one cannot deny that. The bigger question here is, will Congress stop Bharat Jodo Yatra amid looming threat? Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Now, with the 4 new cases of the new Omicron variant that have been detected in the country, the centre has sounded an alarm, has even written to the states. In fact, Republic spoke exclusively to the AIIMS former director Dr. Randeep Guleria. He stated that there needs to be an alert as COVID cases are on a rise in the country.
इंडिया में सिचुएशन चाइना के हिसाब से बहुत बेहतर है क्योंकि हमारी वैक्सीनेशन स्ट्रैटेजी बहुत सक्सेसफुल रही है. बूस्टर डोज भी हाई रिस्क ग्रुप ने और ज़्यादा लोगों ने लगा लिया है.